Ballon d'Or 2025 is shaping up to be one for the ages. Yes, a lot of people have lost interest in it because it's biased and manipulated. Of course, every fan is free to make such claims and express their frustration, but if you are passionate about it, the 2025 edition will be one of the most exciting, as we probably won't have any clue about the winner until the very last moments of the 2024-25 season. With that in mind, we at the Blue Card present you with our power rankings of the 10 biggest favourites for the award. Before we start with number 10, let's pay tribute to 3 players who didn't make it into the top 10 but deserve an honourable mention. 3 of the best players in the Bundesliga this season, Jamal Musiala, Florian Wirtz and Omar Marmoush, have been fascinating to watch this season and would definitely be in contention for the Ballon d'Or if they raised their game a little bit more. At number 10, we start with England and Real Madrid talisman Jude Bellingham. Yes, for all those fans wondering, how would you put him 10th? Let me remind you that for a few years now, there's been another very important criteria for the Ballon d'Or, and that is class and fair play. And when talking about Jude's fair play these days, he recently got red carded for swearing at the referee against Osasuna, which was just the tip of the iceberg. There were other moments that simply were unnoticed, such as the time he cursed when the linesman raised the flag for a throw-in against Atletico Madrid, but wasn't punished. Or for example, the game against Espanyol back in September, when he told the referee, "You are a piece of shit." Besides that, Jude is a top player and has proved it again this season with some incredibly important goals. The winner against Man City, the goal and assist against Valencia, the winner against Atlanta, which lifted Real Madrid out of a tricky situation where they needed to win to qualify for the Champions League playoffs. Still, Jude feels he can do whatever he wants because he thinks the referee in Spain don't speak English. So don't be surprised if he doesn't even make the top 10 this year, which would be a massive drop from last year's 3rd place. Our next player in line is easily one of the surprises of the season, Alexander Isak. The Swede's amazing form began at the end of last season when he finished with a total of 27 goal contributions. Well, right now, by mid-February, he is already on 26, which easily puts his name among Blue Card's top 10. His form was so good around November and December, he even won the Premier League's best player for the last month of the year, that he's now become a top target for at least 3 top teams in Europe. Barcelona and Arsenal have reportedly asked about his availability in the summer, and if Newcastle failed to qualify for the top 4, you can be sure that the possibility of Isak leaving will increase a lot. He's agile, quick and very creative for a 6'4" striker, and on top of that, he's one of the deadliest shots in Europe at the moment. Just ask the Liverpool goalkeeper when the Swedes smashed past him in the top corner. Interestingly, Isak will face one of his favourite opponents again in the EFL Cup final, and if he manages to lift the trophy, you can expect even more talk of a big money move in the summer. Hansi Flick's favourite player, and one of the most classy ballers out there. And it's really refreshing to see him finally get the recognition he deserves after so many years of injury and low points for Pedri. You could hear a lot of arguments on social media about his rivalry with Jude Bellingham. Well, if you're a player who likes to measure class by stats, then Jude is the man for you. However, if you judge the game by the way you look at it with your eyes, then Pedri is easily the best choice. They're both extremely different and incredibly good, so it's probably better to just enjoy their game without comparing them. As for Pedri's qualities, you could really say that he's a very all-round player. If you want to press him, just give up, because it's almost impossible. Dribbling, positioning, drifting into pockets, fascinating vision, incredible understanding of length and weight of the pass, an absolute midfield maestro. Well, Hansi Flick has unleashed a beast, that's for sure. Yes, amazingly, at 27, Ousmane Dembele has finally managed to fulfill his potential, or let's say, started fulfilling it. The PSG winger and current star of the team following the departure of Kylian Mbappe has 23 goals and 5 assists to his name for the 2024-25 season, figures we have never seen from him before. Yes, some will say, imagine what a star he could have been if he had taken control of his career earlier. Well, the better phrase should be, better late than never, right? Of those 23 goals, 15 have come since the start of 2025, a period in which he has scored in literally every game he's started so far. Yes, that may change in the coming weeks, but it's still pretty impressive, isn't it? What's more, With back-to-back hat-tricks against Brest and Stuttgart, Dembele became the first PSG player in history to achieve such a feat. As for the next player in line, hear us out. Harry Kane could actually win a trophy this season. Yes, this is not an April Fool's joke, but the actual truth. Just like in his first season in Germany, Kane is again very good for Bayern Munich, but this time, the resistance from Bayern Leverkusen is far worse, and the Bavarians might be able to win another Bundesliga title fairly comfortably, currently sitting 8 points on top. Individually, Kane has scored 29 goals and laid on 8 assists in all competitions, making him the number 9 with the most contributions in Europe, ahead of Lewandowski, Isak and Haaland. This huge transformation is largely down to his astonishing playmaking. In his early years as a professional, Kane was labelled a penalty box poacher, but his role has evolved over time, peaking in the perfect time for Kane's potential maiden trophy in his career. He's now dropping deep and creating chances more than ever, making him one of the most versatile strikers in the world. And with Bayern potentially on course to win the Bundesliga and the Champions League, just imagine the end of the story for Kane, who has struggled for silverware throughout his career and then wins the Ballon d'Or at the age of 31. Passing the halfway point on our power rankings, what Kane is doing comfortably into his 30s is truly amazing. But imagine scoring even more goals at 36. Yes, even at that age, Lever is showing his class. In fact, if he keeps scoring like this, the Pole is on the verge of beating the best goal-scoring season of his career, the iconic 2019-20 season, when he scored 55 goals and won the sextuple with Bayern Munich under Hansi Flick. Now, back with his old gaffer, Lewandowski has unleashed his older self. Yes, it could be argued that he misses a few chances here and there, but even with that in mind, he has scored in Barca's biggest games this season. He punished Real Madrid with 3 goals in 2024-25, he punished his former club Bayern Munich, and he also scored a brace in the vital 5-4 comeback win over Benfica. 29 goal contributions along with 2 titles in his first season at Real Madrid, and still being called a flop? Kylian Mbappe really is the most slammed footballer out there. I mean, he's raised the bar so much in the last few years that people aren't really impressed with his performances anymore. And I will say it here and now, if Madrid somehow managed to win the Champions League again this season, Mbappe would almost certainly win the Ballon d'Or in my opinion. Yes, a lot can change between now and the end of the season, but Mbappe is Madrid's leader right now. Not Jude, not Vinny, not Rodrigo, especially in these 2 months in 2025. He had a bit of a slow start to the season, but after those 2 penalty misses against Liverpool and Athletic Club in November, Mbappe has returned to his scary self, contributing 17 goals in that period, including 11 in 2025. Forgetting all the things that have started to sound like cliches in recent months, like Yamal is the best young talent, or he is amazing at this tender age, etc. Yamal was this last season. Right now, he would have easily been the flashiest footballer in the world if it wasn't for Raphinha and Salah's numbers and impact, even though numbers don't always tell the whole truth. If you ask me, Pedri and Lamine Yamal have had a bigger impact on Barcelona this season, but Raphinha outshines them both because of his attacking returns. As for Liverpool, Salah is the absolute impact king out there, being Merseyside's most invaluable player. So, those are the reasons to put Yamal third. Of course, we can't overlook the fact that he has to work a little more on his finishing, because he's sometimes missing chances that should be easily buried with his eyes closed. Otherwise, he's arguably the most creative footballer in the world right now, together with Salah. It's quite funny that opposing fans are slamming him for only scoring 11 goals this season, but everybody forgets to mention that he's also assisted 13 in 2024-25. He is a generational talent. With 10 goal contributions in 2024-25, Raphinha is a player that keeps on improving game after game. And I fully mean it, he's playing each game as if it's his last ever. And the most astonishing thing is that the whole Barca fan base wanted him out last summer, but after the arrival of Hansi Flick, something just clicked with Rafa. And let me give you the most astonishing fact. With his 24 goals and 15 assists, or a total of 39 goal contributions, in 35 games in 2024-25, according to Transfermarkt, Raphinha is on the verge of beating the involvements tally of his previous 2 seasons for the Catalans. Between 2022 and 2024, Rafa bagged 44 goal contributions, which means that by the time this is uploaded, he would have probably already beaten that figure. And with being Barca's biggest contributor this season, we can say the exact same thing we said about Mbappe. If Barcelona win their 6th Champions League, Raphinha will most probably win the Ballon d'Or this year, especially if he keeps on contributing like that. Raphinha, Mohamed Salah. First or second, it doesn't really matter. I mean, bookmakers' odds change each time one of the two makes a top game, so that's not so important. The really important thing, however, is that Salah finally managed to get the recognition he deserved. Just hear this. How would you react if I told you that in the 8 years Salah has been a Liverpool player, he doesn't have a single season with less than 25 goals? He's bagged 10 assists each year, except for one, but still hasn't been elected in the top 3 for the Ballon d'Or. It's quite unbelievable, isn't it? And with his amazing 2024-25, which would probably go down as the best in his career, especially if he wins the Premier League or Champions League, or why not even both of them, Salah is surely a top favourite for the Ballon d'Or. Now, before we end, please give your honest opinion on this hot topic. Who's your favourite for the Ballon d'Or? Salah, Raphinha, Mbappe, or maybe someone else? Let us know in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to Blue Card for more interesting content. And check out our video on the January transfers that would have changed football forever. I'll catch you in the next one.